All right, week 5 of the NFL season. Let's start with the 1 o'clock games. Cowboys at Jets. The Cowboys are 1-2-1. The Jets are 0-4. Dallas is 2.5 point favorites. As a Jets fan, I don't know what the fuck to do with this game, boys. I feel like the Jets have a chance to win this game. I really do. No Jets head coach in their first year has ever started 0-5. The Jets have one of the best running attacks in the NFL, top 3. They're averaging over 5 yards a carry, and the Cowboys have missed the 7th most amount of tackles in the NFL. They're actually middle of the pack in their run defense, but they're not really seeing a lot of rushing attack because teams are just passing the ball at will. Oh man, the two bottom 10 defenses in yards per play this season. The Jets offense with Justin Fields in against the Steelers in week 1 and against the Dolphins in week 4, two bottom 10 defenses, they are averaging over 400 yards of offense. So with Justin Fields against bad defenses, this Jets offense has been able to move the ball. This Cowboys defense is horrible. So I think the Jets will be able to move the ball efficiently. I think they'll be able to score points as long as they don't turn the ball over and they don't have too many self-inflicted wounds on the offense in terms of pre-snap penalties, because they had a bunch of those on Monday Night Football. So limit those, and the Jets will move the ball and will score points on this putrid Cowboys defense. On the flip side of that, on that coin, the Cowboys are going to run past, do whatever they want against this Jets defense. I think this could be a whoever has the ball last type of game, or whoever creates the least amount of turnovers in a type of game, because the Jets have missed the most tackles in the NFL. Brandon Stevens played good against the Dolphins, actually, but he's been a complete liability in coverage throughout the rest of the season. Sauce Gardner's having his worst statistical season, according to PFF. He has the lowest lowest coverage grade in his career so far. These defenses suck. This game could go really either way. I think the Cowboys have more talent offensively, but I think the Jets have more talent defensively. They just haven't been able to hone it in yet. So I don't know. I'd stick with the over in this game at 47.5, and I would bet a whole lot of player props in this game. Garrett Wilson over 62.5 receiving yards is free money this weekend. He's hit it the past 2 weeks. I bet it both weeks. We're riding it again. This weekend, it's hit 3 of the 4 games he's played so far this season. The Jets are going up against the 32nd ranked pass defense in the NFL. And everybody was like, oh, Justin Fields with Garrett Wilson, he's not going to have a good year. And no, that's not true. He's 6th in the NFL on receiving yards. For some reason, sportsbooks aren't respecting Garrett Wilson because his receiving total stays around the 60-65 area. He's going up against the worst pass defense in the NFL. Garrett Wilson over 62.5 receiving yards is free money. Trayvon Diggs can't guard him. Kaiir Elam can't guard him. Nobody in the NFL can guard that guy over 62.5 receiving yards in a game that I think is going to be a shootout, because both of these defenses stink. Both of them are bottom 5, or they have top 5, excuse me, in the amount of tackles they've missed. Worst pass defense in the NFL with Dallas. Bottom 10 pass defense in the NFL with the Jets. This game's going to go over, which means Garrett Wilson's going to be targeted a lot. I think he could have a career day in terms of passing. He could put up some crazy numbers in this game. Take him over 62.5 receiving yards. I would also take Justin Fields anytime touchdown, Javonte Williams anytime touchdown, Jake Ferguson touchdown, Breece Hall touchdown, Pickens touchdown, Mason Taylor touchdown. Take all of Dak Prescott's passing overs. I think this is going to be a shootout, kind of like what we saw on Sunday Night Football and we saw in week 2 with this Cowboys team. So yeah, that's what I like for Cowboys Jets. The Vikings are 2-2, are not at that. Technically, they are the home team, or no, they are the away team. I think it was. I think we'll play back-to-back games overseas if they count as 2 away games for us. I think was the logic the Vikings went through, which is pretty smart. Honestly, you'd rather have an away game at a neutral site. So we'll play 2 of them. But anyway, the Vikings are playing the Browns. Let me take a sip of water and we'll lock it. All right. The Vikings do not have the guys on this offensive line to block the Browns. Defensive line, Brian O'Neill is out, their right tackle. Donovan Jackson, their guard, is out. Ryan Kelly is questionable. That's 3 starting defensive linemen. However, they do have the playmakers to be able to create offense against this Browns secondary that is very overrated. Denzel Ward's a great player, but they look better because of how dominant that pass rush is. I just don't understand what the Cleveland Browns are doing starting Dillon Gabriel in this spot. I understand you want to go to the young kid eventually, but going to a rookie quarterback in a week where you're going up not only against one of the most complex defensive schemes in the NFL with Brian Flores, who blitzed the most in the NFL last year. He's top 5 in blitz percentage again this year. And before every single snap, there's 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be up to this rookie quarterback who's never played a real NFL snap in the regular season to decipher which guys are coming, which guys are dropping off in coverage, and where to go with the football within the first half second after the ball is snapped. He's gonna have to do that in his first ever start. Also, he's playing it in London, England. What is the logic there? You think you have a better chance of winning this game with Dillon Gabriel as your quarterback than you do with Joe Flacco against one of the most difficult schemes for any quarterback to decipher. And you're also going to have to fly across the world to make your first career start. What are the Browns doing? Like, that makes zero sense. This is literally the worst possible scenario you could ever choose to go off of your veteran quarterback and give a rookie quarterback his first start. Zero sense. Another reason why they are a poverty organization, a poverty franchise. And I know what a poverty franchise looks like. Makes zero sense that the Browns are starting Dillon Gabriel. It's honestly laughable. What the fuck are you thinking? Yeah, we're going to go fly overseas, play one of the most complex defenses in the NFL, and you're going to make your first career start Dillon Gabriel. Good luck. What are we doing? Yeah, and go throw to Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good for your confidence. Flying across the world, and yeah, you're going to make your first start. Yeah, man. Pretty smart stuff from Cleveland. I think the Vikings win this game. I would take Cleveland Browns team total under, laddered all the way to 0 points. Literally 0 point. I think they could get shut out in this game. I'm not going to do that. Number one, because books won't let me. And number two, there could be like a bullshit pick six. Like this Browns defense could make a play, give them a short field. Quinshon Judkins runs in a touchdown, or there'll be some special teams bullshit. But I don't think there's going to be enough special teams bullshit, or this defense is going to turn the ball over, turn this Vikings over. They could turn them over. They could turn them over. But anyway, my thing is I'm taking their team total, which is at like 15, 16 right now. I think it's somewhere around there. I'm going to take that down to 11.5. Or to 10.5, excuse me, because 10 points is enough wiggle room. It's like, all right, kick return touchdown, fuck, that sucks, and a field goal. So it gives you enough room for some flexible bullfuck. But other than that, I don't think this Browns offense is going to have any chance. I will say this, though. If the Browns do want to win this game, it's going to have to come through Quinshon Judkins, because this Vikings defense has been gashed in the run game at times this season. Against the Atlanta Falcons, both Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson averaged over 4.8 yards per carry. Bijan averaged 6.5 yards per carry. Last week, Kenneth Gainwell averaged 5.2 yards per carry against this, against this Vikings defense. Here comes Quinshon Judkins, who's averaging 4.8 yards per carry. Averaged 4.5 yards per carry the last 2 weeks against the Packers and the Lions, two very, very good front sevens. Quinshon Judkins over his rushing total, which is around 70 yards, feels like a play. I think he's going to have to be the offense for Cleveland because, like I said, Dillon Gabriel, first start, flying halfway across the country or across the world against the most difficult defense for quarterbacks to read pre-snap. Smart management by the Browns there. What a fucking shit show. Yeah. Take Quinshon Judkins rushing yards. Take Quinshon Judkins rushing attempts. And take the Vikings -3.5, take the under, take the Browns team total under. At the end of the day, I think, even though I think like both offenses are going to struggle, I trust Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to break through at some point more than I trust this Browns offense to break through at some point. Unless this Browns defense straight up just scores points. I don't think the Browns offense is going to be able to score a touchdown. So unless this Browns defense can get a pick six, get a couple fumbles, get a scoop and score, or this Browns special teams can make a play, I don't think that they have a chance in this game. Not to mention, Minnesota's acclimated. They've been there for 2 weeks now overseas. So I love Minnesota in this game. I love Quinshon Judkins rushing yards in this game, and I like the Browns team total under, because why are we starting Dillon Gabriel this week? Makes zero sense. All right. The 1-3 Raiders at the 3-1 Colts. So the Colts are 6.5 point favorites And as weird as this is going to sound, the Colts beat themselves last week more than the Rams beat them. Adonai Mitchell fumbles out of the back of the end zone. Adonai Mitchell holding on a Jonathan Taylor touchdown. They had 10 guys on the field for the 2-2 Atwell ended up being the game-winning touchdown, right? So the Colts beat themselves in a way against the Rams, which are a Super Bowl contender. I think they have like top 3 odds to get out of the NFC. So in a way, if you spin it, a good spin zone, the Colts are better than the Rams because the Rams didn't beat them. The Colts beat themselves, right? And now the Colts are 6.5 favorites at home against the Raiders team that turns the ball over the third most in the NFL and is bottom 5 in creating turnovers against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It really is just Max Crosby and Prey going up against one of the best offensive lines in the NFL and the Indianapolis Colts. The Raiders can't stop the run. The Colts love to run the football. The Colts are going to blow out the Raiders. I'd take an alternate spread at like 13 points. 12, 13 points. I'm not that confident in that, but I am pretty confident in them winning this game. The Vegas run defense is horrible as well. I will say this, though. If Vegas does want to have a chance, like the path to victory for the Las Vegas Raiders against the Indianapolis Colts is through that rookie running back that just went off against the Chicago Bears. His name's Ashton Jeanty. Ever heard of him? He is the key to victory in this game for the Raiders. I think the Colts win this game, but this Colts defense isn't as good as a lot of people think it is. Kyren Williams averaged 5.9 yards per carry against this Colts defense. J.K. Dobbins averaged 5.4 yards per carry versus this Colts defense. The other teams the Colts played, horrible offenses. Horrible. So against the two good rushing attacks, the Rams, two good offenses, the Rams and the Broncos, both starting running backs averaged more than 5 yards per carry. Ashton Jeanty, coming off of the best game of his young NFL career, could be in for a big day. And if Geno doesn't turn the ball over and they lean on this run game, maybe get into some play action, because they don't have the best cover guys in the back end, the Colts don't. Xavier Howard just retired. He was a dog in Miami. Let's not forget how good he was in Miami. He just old. He was old, was a liability. So they don't have the guys really on the back end to cover. If you get into some deep play action, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, they got wheels, right? They can separate a little bit. I see a path here for the Raiders. I just think the Colts are legit. I really do. I think the Colts are legit. So I like the Raiders or I like the Colts to cover, but there is a path here for Geno if he just doesn't turn the ball over, but he hasn't shown the ability to not turn the ball over yet this season. So give me the Colts. There is a path for the Raiders. Water break, and then we'll Giants Saints it. This game is very hard to pick, man. The Giants are at the Saints. The Giants are 1-3. The Saints are 0-4. New Orleans are 1.5 point favorites. The total is at 41.5. And I do love the over in this game. The Saints offensive line isn't horrible, but they are without Cesar Ruiz, and this Giants front four is starting to get after guys. They're starting to get going. Kayvon Thibodeaux, Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns are all top 15 in pressures. Brian Burns is tied for the top of the NFL in sacks. The Saints have a rookie left tackle and a second-year right tackle. They are in trouble. So even though I think the Saints will be able to run the ball because the Giants have averaged 6.1 yards per carry, the most in the NFL. Defensively, they're allowing 6.1 yards per carry. The Saints just averaged more than 5 yards per carry versus the Bills defense last week. So I think they'll be able to run the ball. I just think I trust this pass rush to disrupt the game more than I think this Saints rushing attack can carry New Orleans. So I'm putting my money on Kayvon Thibodeaux, Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns than I am on Kelvin Banks, Talise Fuaga, and this Saints offense and Alvin Kamara in the run game. I trust the Giants defensive line more. So that's where I'm putting my money. Take the Giants at 1.5. But I love the over 41.5 points in the Giants Saints. This feels too low for two of the worst defenses in the NFL. I understand this Giants front seven is good. This Giants pass rush is elite. They're starting to look elite. The names on paper are elite for sure. The Giants allow 6.1 yards per carry. That's the most in the NFL. Saints running backs just averaged 5 yards per carry versus an Ed Oliver-less Bills front seven. Dexter Lawrence is questionable as well, so the Saints should be able to run the ball on this Giants offense. If that can open up the play action, the Giants don't have the guys in the back end to cover. Chris Olave is a great receiver. He's a great receiver. He just has been cursed with injury, and he's been in bad scenarios. They don't have a guy like Cordell Flott's not guarding Chris Olave. Paulson Adebo, who did play very well against the Chargers, so I will give him some credit there. He's not going to be able to cover Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed can take the top off the defense. Jawan Johnson looks solid as well. Brandon Cooks is Brandon Cooks. On the other side, though, I think this Giants rushing attack will be able to run the ball at will against this Saints defense with Scadabo and Jackson Dart now, who showed real versatility using his legs as a real weapon on the ground against the Saints defense. So I think, and both teams are top five in defensive penalties. The Giants have the most defensive penalties in the league. So I think both offenses will be able to move the ball. I think this game will go over 41.5 points, and I think the Giants will cover. Very iffy on that though. But I love the over in this game a whole lot. Okay. Dolphins at Panthers. I love Miami in this game. I love Miami -1.5 against the Dolphins, or I love Miami -1.5 against the Panthers. The Panthers are a horrible football team. Week 3 against the Falcons, fluke, absolute fluke. Bryce Young's played 6 good quarters of football so far this season, if that. He has a 60% completion percentage, 180 yards per game, a 5-3 touchdown interception ratio. He is not good. And as much shit as people like to give Mike McDaniel and this Dolphins team, he just stinks against winning teams. He has like a 3-13 record against teams above 500. Well, let me tell you, 1-3 is not above 500. The Panthers are a bad football team. The Panthers only have 2 sacks in 4 games. They have a 7% pressure rate. And as bad as this Dolphins offensive line is, they'll be able to keep Tua standing upright because they don't have anybody rushing the passer over there in Carolina. And if Tua can stand upright, he's a very accurate passer. Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington. I think there'll be better vibes in that locker room now that Tyreek Hill's out of there. And now that's something like I can't. That's just gut feeling because Tyreek Hill is not the greatest person. But I think addition by subtraction, addition being the vibes, Jalen Waddle had his best season without Tyreek Hill. Malik Washington. This run game's great. The Panthers' run defense is horrible. The Panthers are going to blow out. Or the Dolphins are going to blow out the Panthers. Take a -1.5. Take Achane rushing yards. Take Achane touchdowns as well. All right. The best matchup of the 1 o'clock slate. Dare I say, a potential Super Bowl matchup between the Broncos and the Eagles in Philly. The Broncos are 3.5-point underdogs, and you take the Broncos in this game to cover the spread. I don't know if they'll win, but they will cover the spread. The Broncos have had the best offensive line in the NFL so far this year, and the Eagles defense that was better last year, I still question this pass rush. I don't think they're going to be able to get home against this Broncos offensive line. Only 5 sacks on the year. The secondary should be able to contain this Broncos passing offense, this group of pass catches, but I like Sean Payton to get schemy here. The Broncos rushing attack also elite. They're averaging 5.1 yards per carry. I think they win the trench battle offensively. The Denver Broncos do. Broncos O-line is the second lowest sack percentage allowed, and they've allowed the least amount of sacks in the NFL. So this offensive line is legit. Everybody knew that. But the defense has been advertised. Top 5 in passing yards per attempt, top 5 in rushing yards per attempt. They lead the NFL in sacks, and they lead the NFL in pressure rate. So they are just a wagon. The only reason they're 2-2 is because of a bullshit leverage call against the Colts. So in my mind, they're 3-1. And the Eagles offense has not been great. Bottom 10 in sack percentage. So this offensive line, which is the driving force, the life of this Eagles offense, hasn't been as good as it was last year, hasn't been as dominant. I'm sure it can get there, though they are a little bit banged up. The Eagles passing game, also non-existent. They are going against a secondary that has a defensive player of the year and an all-pro safety who has been playing like an all-pro safety, and Talona Hufanga. So this defense is too good for the way this Eagles offense has been playing so far this season, and it has been uninspiring football except for the 1 half against the Kansas City Chiefs where Jalen Hurts says, hey, Patullo, we're good. I'm going to call the plays here. So I think the Broncos have a chance to win this game. I don't know if they will win, but I think they'll keep it close. I think this game goes under as well because this Eagles defense did play better last week. I think they're only going to get better as the season goes on. But I just like the guys in the trenches in Denver more than I do in Philly. And I think that's the difference in this game. So give me the Broncos plus 3.5. Texans at Ravens. I think this is the last game of the 1 o'clock slate. Let me double check. I did Cowboys, Jets. We're taking the Jets and the over. Iffy on the Jets. Vikings, Browns. We're taking the Vikings. Raiders, Colts. We're taking the Colts, but I see a path to victory with the Raiders. Giants, Saints. We're taking the Giants. We're also taking the over. That more comfortable in the over. Broncos, Eagles. We're taking the Broncos. That's going to be since the Super Bowl. I've bet against the Eagles in 4 out of the last 5 games they've played. I'm 0-4. I don't care, though. This is the one, bro. There's been some atrocious beats, bro. The Travis Kelce dropping that touchdown fucked me against when it was Chiefs-Eagles, right? The Rams, the blocked game-winning field goal. Oh, that was horrible. Last week wasn't really a bad beat. They played better than the Bucs. Trying to think if there was a bad beat. No, they played better than the Bucs. Baker throwing that interception sucked, but that's not really a bad beat. Like, that's just Baker making a dumb decision. I guess you can say the same about the Chiefs game, like Travis Kelce dropping. I mean, that is a bad beat. A Hall of Fame tight end dropping a touchdown turns into an interception. That's a 14-point swing. So get the fuck out of it. Bad beat. And obviously the Rams game is a bad beat as well. So I'm not worried. This is the one. Dolphins, Panthers. The Dolphins are blowing it out. So Texans, Ravens. No Lamar, but Zach Gore's defense has held the Texans scoreless in December last year. They scored on a safety, but this isn't Zach Gore's defense, guys. Oh, this game's so tough, bro. The 3 times that CJ Stroud has played the Ravens in his career, the score combined is 90-22 in favor of Baltimore. This Zach Gore defense held the Texans offense scoreless in December. Texans scored on a field goal. But this isn't Zach Gore's defense, man. No Marlon Humphrey, no Roquan Smith, no Matabike, Kyle Hamilton, Kyle Van Noy, Nate Wiggins are all questionable as well. I have a tough time seeing this Ravens defense stop this Texans offense. As bad as this Texans offense has been, as bad as the offensive line has been, they have nobody rushing the passer, and they have nobody covering these Texans pass catchers. Like, I just have a tough time seeing this Ravens defense stop this Texans offense, as crazy as that sounds with how bad this Texans offense has been. But I will tell you this, as injured as the Ravens are, there's one guy that's not injured, and his name is Derrick Henry. That guy ran for 150 yards on this Texans defense in December last year. He's going to do it again. They have 2 questionable players on the offensive line, though. It's Tyler Linderbaum, Ronnie Stanley. Stanley got hurt last week in the game against the Chiefs. I think Linderbaum plays. I don't know about Stanley or Staley. Derrick Henry's going off in this game. Ladder his rushing yards all the way up to 150 because he is going to have to be the offense if they want a chance. A lot of people are injured for Baltimore. The offensive line is the least injured group, which is crazy because they have 2 questionable players. And Derrick Henry is not injured. He will carry. He will carry this Ravens team. He has to. He has to. Give me the Ravens. Give me Derrick Henry's rushing yards in this game as well. Laddered. It's at 72.5. Ladder that to 150. He's going off. Take him 2 touchdowns. This is the Derrick Henry statement game. Remember me, guys. 3 fumbles. I had 3 fumbles. We lost 2 of those games because of the fumbles I had. I'm locked in now. I'm gonna get us a win back. Derrick Henry game, mark it. He's going off. He needs to for Cooper Rush and the Baltimore Ravens. The Texans, I just can't bet the Texans with the way they've been owned by the Ravens. It's a gut thing. The smart play is probably to bet the Texans, but take Derrick Henry's rushing yards. I'm taking the Ravens and Derrick Henry's rushing yards. All right, everybody. Let's get into, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll get into the 4 o'clock games. This video is brought to you by PropSpot.ai. Make sure you go download PropSpot.ai, use code DSOC, and you will get a week of free trial. What it does is it takes every metric, every stat you could possibly want, and it throws it into this AI algorithm and gives it a confidence score from 0 to 1. The higher the confidence score, the more likely this AI algorithm thinks that bet will hit. For Thursday Night Football, I'm recording this before Thursday Night Football, but it has an 8.84 confidence score of Mac Jones's longest run to be over 6.5 yards. Puka Nacua rushing and receiving over 101.5 yards. Kyren Williams over 67.5 yards. Matthew Stafford over 232.5 yards. So if majority of those hit, then you know that PropSpot.ai is legit. Their confidence scores are usually never wrong. I use it all the time. I was up like 10 units last Sunday. So make sure you download, PropSpot.ai and use code DSOC. And let's get into the 4 o'clock games. Let's start with Titans at Cardinals. The Titans are 0-4 against the Cardinals, who are 2-2. The Cardinals coming off 2 straight losses. The Titans are 7-point underdogs. Usually I have it written down here in my notes, but I guess I forgot to do it. I think they're 7-point dogs. That's what we're gonna say. The Titans offense has been putrid. There's no understating how bad this Titans offense has been. Last in yards per play in the NFL, last in points scored, last in completion percentage. They've allowed the most sacks, and they have the highest drop rate in the NFL. Cam Ward is tied for second in drop passes, total drop passes among by his receivers in the NFL, but 14th in pass attempts. The guy is tied with Dak Prescott, with where his receivers both have 8 drops. Dak has 166 pass attempts. Mahomes has 142 pass attempts. Those are the guys he's tied with. Trevor Lawrence has 144 pass attempts. His receivers lead the NFL in drops. Cam Ward has 125 pass attempts. So he's not throwing the ball as much as those guys. If you throw the ball more, your receivers are more likely to drop it, is the main point there. Cam Ward is being let down by this Tennessee Titans franchise. They invested so many resources into that offensive line with J.C. Latham, Skoronski. They bring in Kevin Zeitler. They stink. He's getting sacked the most. Cam Ward is at fault for a lot of those sacks. He's taking some bad sacks. But to be fair, Calvin Ridley, L.K. Omaner, and Tyler Lockett as your receiving core, they're not getting open. They're not getting open. So this Titans team, this Titans offense is horrible. And as Cam Ward said, we're ass right now. Yeah, they're very, very bad. The defense is also not good either. Like, the Titans are just bad. They're bottom 10 versus the pass and bottom 10 versus the run. Callahan needs to go. They need to bring in some talent. I think the GM needs to go as well. I don't know how long the GM's been there, but to have a bottom 10 passing defense, bottom 10 rushing defense, and quite literally the worst offense in yards per play, points scored, completion percentage. They allow the most sacks, and they have the highest drop rate in the NFL. Something's got to go in that front office. The Titans have been historically awful to start the year. All that being said, give me the Titans to cover this spread. They're going to cover. I just love Cam Ward. I love me some Cam Ward too much, and there is some logic backed into this. The Cardinals have a lot of injury on the defensive side of the ball. Not any real key players, but a lot of depth guys that are injured. And the passing offense is in real trouble for Tennessee if Will Johnson plays. But as bad as the Cardinals' defense has been, they let bad teams hang around. They beat the Saints by 7. They beat the Panthers by 5. The Cardinals are 26th in pressure rate in the NFL. And as bad as this Titans offensive line looks statistically, and they have been bad in general, they have played a gauntlet of front sevens. They played the Broncos, they played the Rams, they played the Texans. All 3 of those teams are top 10 in sacks, and two out of 3 of those teams are top 10 in pressure rate. So those are 3 of the best offense or defensive lines in the NFL this Titans line has had to go against. This Cardinals defense is bottom half the league in pressures. Maybe Cam Ward has a little bit of time for his receivers to get a little bit open, and the Titans can be frisky and cover this 8.5. Dare I say this is the first game the Titans win on the season, because I am extremely low on this Cardinals team. And as far as their defense go, yeah, L'Jarius hasn't looked great. He can lock up. I think he can lock up Marvin Harrison Jr. The Cardinals are without Trey Benson and James Conner, so it's Michael Carter, Jets legend, that'll be running the ball for the Cardinals. Their offensive line isn't great. I think this is the game. I'm calling it now. I said the Chargers last week was my upset pick. The Titans this week are my upset pick. I'm way less confident in the Titans than I am in the Chargers or in the Giants, because the Titans just have no talent to rely on. But I do think they'll cover the spread. I'm not that confident they'll win the game, but I like the Titans here. All right, Tampa at Seattle. The Bucks are without starting right guard, and the Bucks are 3-1. Seattle's 3-1. Seattle's like 3.5-point favorites. The Bucks are without their starting right guard and their starting right tackle. No Mike Evans, no Bucky Irving in this game. They're flying across the country to face a Seattle defense without their with their starting right guard and starting right tackle. So the right side of their offensive line is not playing. They're on the IR. They're playing a Seahawks defense that's top 7 in pressure rate and sacks, top 5 versus the run, and 7th in yards per pass attempt. This Seahawks defense has been elite. First-round defensive tackle from last year, Byron Murphy, 2.5 sacks. Leonard Williams, also 2.5 sacks. The Bucks aren't going to be able to run the ball without Bucky Irving and their starting right side of their offensive line through the middle of this Seattle defense with Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed, Ernest Jones, and then second-year player Tyrese Knight, or third-year, no, don't remember exactly, young player Tyrese Knight, linebacker, who flies around the field. So the middle of this defense is gross, and the outside corners are very solid as well. Not the greatest in coverage at times, I'll say that. Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, both aggressive players, so they can get beat deep. They can be susceptible to the deep ball, but then Julian Love's a great safety as well. So this Seattle Seahawks defense is the real deal. The Bucks are traveling literally from the southeastern part of the country to the most northwestern part of the country without Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, and the 2 starting, the right guard and right tackle. You take the home team with the better defense that is more healthy in this game. Give me Seattle to cover 3 points. Sam Darnold has also been balling. 905 yards, 70% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 9.1 average yards per completion. The player's not playing, the offensive lineman, because I want to give respect to the big boys, because I keep just saying the right guard and right tackle real quick. Luka Decky, and that's the guard, or that's the tackle. I forget the right fucking guard's name, though. No disrespect to the big men, to the big uglies down in there. That's where football games are won. So I feel like we need to respect them more. Hand up here for getting this right guard's name. He's very good. Moak or something. It's like Moak, something like guac with an M, something like that. I swear. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Cody Moak. Yeah, literally. Okay, so I do know them. I know ball. Okay. All right. Anyway, Sam Donald has been balling. He throws the ball the least out of any starting quarterback in the NFL, but he's stretching the field. So he's 9 yards per pass attempt, and he's completing 70% of his passes. So his numbers don't look that great, but he's been uber efficient in the limited amount of pass attempts throwing the football, and he's stretching the ball down the field. And it's not like they have the greatest group of pass catchers. JSN is absolutely elite, but after that, there is a real fall off with Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton. He has been balling. This offensive line, keeping him standing up. Sam Darnold is a real problem. He is a plus starter in the NFL at this point in his career. He's going up against a very tough Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, but it's susceptible against the pass. They like to blitz a lot. As long as Sam can pick up the blitz, which teams that like to blitz a lot mean a lot of man coverage. JSN and man coverage, he's going to eat that up. So I like JSN's receptions because Sam's going to have to get the ball out fast against this Todd Bowles blitz. The Bucs blitz the third most in the NFL. So I like JSN to go over his reception total. It's at 6.5 right now. And I think Sam Darnold's going to get a lot of completions in this game because the Bucs have a top 3 run defense in the NFL. Their run defense is always good with Todd Bowles. So that's a consistent with the Todd Bowles defense. So I like Seattle in this game because they're healthier. Their defense is better than the Bucs. And offensively, Sam Darnold has been one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league so far this season because he hasn't put up the gaudy numbers because he has the least amount of pass attempts in the league. So take the Seahawks, take JSN over his receptions in this game and forget about it. I love me some fucking Sam Darnold, bro. He fires me up. He had some throws that got dropped on that Thursday night football game too that were like, oh man, this guy can fucking sling the rock. One of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. Okay. Lions 3-1 at the Bengals, who are 2-2. They are 9.5-point favorites. Listen, man, this would have been electric football if Joe Burrow was healthy. Think about that garbage Bengals defense with this Joe Burrow offense. The Lions have the best offense in the NFL. They score the most points. They've done that for the last 4 years now, Ben Johnson or not. Imagine this Lions offense going up against that Bengals defense, and then Joe Burrow on the other side, who would have to have played hero ball. This game would have been electric. This is a game that we circled on the calendar. If you're just looking at every single game in the NFL on a vacuum, you're going to be like, that game's going to have 1,000,000 points scored into it. And what do we have now? Jake Browning. Sick, man. Fucking sick. The Lions are going to piss him. The Lions are going to take Jake Browning and bury his head in that garbage Cincinnati turf. Jake Browning is in for a long day. He might not want to go home to his family after this game because they won't want to they won't want to have a part with him. They don't want to be involved in his life anymore after what Aiden Hutchinson, the Muhammad guy, Aline McNeil, DJ Reed, or what this Detroit defensive line is about to do to this poor Jake Browning guy it should be it's against the Geneva Convention, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be some war crime type shit. This Bengals offensive line is horrible. The Lions have the 4th most sacks in the NFL, the 4th highest sack percentage, and the Bengals allow the 4th highest sack percentage in the NFL. No DJ Reed, he's on the IR, so T. Higgins and Jamar Chase will get open. But Jake Browning's going to be dead by the time they're open downfield, though, and they'll get open fast. It's just that this Bengals defense, or this Bengals offensive line, is a joke, and this Lions front 7 is the real deal, and they're healthy. And they weren't healthy last year. So take the Lions minus 9.5. Take their alternate spread at 13 and 16.5 as well. The Bengals have a bottom 10 run defense. We just saw what J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvard were able to do to this run defense on Monday Night Football. So not to mention the Bengals are coming off a short week. So take Gibbs' rushing total, Monty's rushing total, game script, and this this Detroit offensive line is going to impose their will on this garbage Bengals defense. Shout out Trey Hendrickson though. And they're just slow, man. The Bengals defense looks slow. I don't know what Logan Wilson's 40 time is, and Demetrius Knight or Tyrese Knight. I don't know. I get them confused. The linebackers. One of them's on the Seahawks. I literally just said his name. Let me whip out the depth charts again. I think Demetrius is on the Bengals. Tyrese is on the Seahawks. Bear with me, folks. Bad podcasting, bad YouTube recording. Hey, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I don't want to get confused. I don't want to. Demetrius is on the Bengals. Tyrese is on the Seahawks. Logan Wilson looks slow as shit. This is what they're gonna do. The Lions are gonna be like, all right, we're gonna go outside zone. I don't know if there's zone in this game. We're just gonna run the ball outside the tackles. A lot of off tackle stuff with Jahmyr Gibbs. We're gonna get these linebackers running side to side. We're gonna get them real tired. Once they get real tired, Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna come out. We're gonna be like, all right, David Montgomery, between the tackles, smack you in the fucking mouth while you're tired. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs, give me David Montgomery over both of their rushing totals. I'm taking Gibbs at 100 yards, throw a little half unit on there, and then take Monty over 51.5. We saw what J.K. Dobbins just did. He was like the Broncos' first 100-yard rusher, and who knows how long since. I think it might have been Knowshon Moreno, the last Broncos 100-yard rusher. Nevertheless, J.K. broke that dry streak for Denver on Monday Night Football. The defense is horrible. Bottom 10 run defense in the NFL, coming off of a short week, and the Lions are going to piss all over this Bengals football team. So the game script's going to say, here, Jahmyr, here, Dave, let's run up those stats. Let's hit those incentives in our contracts, and let's get paid. Give me David Montgomery over 51.5 rushing yards, and throw a half unit on Jahmyr Gibbs to get 100 yards. His line's at 74.5. You might as well take it. You might as well ladder both of them. I wouldn't be surprised if both of these cats run for 100 yards on Sunday against this Bengals team that is the worst in the NFL since Jake Browning has taken over. All right, the best game, in my opinion, of the 4 o'clock slate. Commanders, Chargers. You got two quarterbacks in this game that flirt in that top 5 category. I think I have Jalen Hurts over Herbert. And hear me out. Without a doubt, I literally was thinking about this in the shower. Without a doubt, Justin Herbert is the more talented football player. Without a doubt. Can't dispute that. If you dispute that, you're straight up a clown. But how much do you value how a guy elevates, or I don't want to say drops off, I can't think of it, elevates or falls in the biggest moments? You're gonna be like, that sound like such an Eagles fan. But the truth is the truth. And the truth is Jalen Hurts plays his best football when the lights are the brightest. Justin Herbert hasn't been able to do that yet. That's objective truth. Jalen Hurts is a better playoff quarterback than Justin Herbert. And in the regular season, the gaps aren't that far. I know Jalen Hurts hasn't put up the crazy statistical numbers, but he was second in MVP voting. That's worth something. Was he second in MVP voting? I don't know. He was a favorite to win MVP before he got hurt in like 2023 or something. Justin Herbert ever been that high in MVP voting? I know he has the 5,000-yard seasons. He has the statistics on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts definitely has a way better supporting cast. I get that. But Jalen Hurts balls out in the playoffs. Justin Herbert does not do that. If Justin Herbert has one good playoff run, then I will flip on that stance. I'll flip on that take in a second. The second Justin Herbert puts up 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in a blowout win, and then comes back in the divisional round and plays a tight, scrappy game where he doesn't even roll over. Maybe they're down by 10. He comes back, makes a fight just to lose to the Chiefs in the divisional round. Then I'll be like, all right, yeah, he can play in the playoffs. It's just the AFC is way harder than the NFC with the quarterback play. He's better than Hurts. That's all it takes for me to flip on that take. I'm right. But Commanders, Chargers, 2 guys. Then I think Jaden's better than Herbert as well. I rank him higher in my list right now. Right now it goes, and it's fluid. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, assuming everybody's healthy. Daniels, Hurts, Stafford, Herbert, Baker. Goff, 10 maybe. Justin Fields, 10. There we go. No, I don't know. I don't know who 10 is. 10 is very interchangeable. But as long as you have those 9 guys, I think that's fine. Whatever order you do after the first 4 is fine as well. That's not the point of the video. Week 5. Commanders, Chargers. The Commanders lost 7.5 yards per catch so far. That's the 3rd worst in the NFL. Their secondary is not good. Trey Amos is a good player, good corner. He's still a rookie. Mikey Sanders still creates a lot of turnovers. He gets involved, but he's very aggressive. He can overcommit. Deep balls can happen. Marshawn Lattimore, I'm sorry, it's over. He's got to hang it up. He's got to pull in Xavier Howard and get out of this league. Going up against one of the best receiver trios in the NFL. So I think these wide receivers will have a field day versus Commanders secondary. But the Chargers are without Joe Alt. The Chargers are already without Rashawn Slater. The Chargers are Mekhi Becton is questionable. Bradley Bozeman not the greatest player. Zion Johnson not the greatest player. They're serviceable at best. And the Commanders have one of the best run defenses in the NFL with Daron Payne and company. Dorrance Armstrong, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Luvu. The middle of this defense is sound against the run. They're just incredibly slow, particularly Bobby Wagner. So the key to victory for both sides in this game is, can this Commanders pass rush with Dorrance Armstrong, Von Miller, they're about middle of the league in sacks, middle of the league in pressure percentage. Can they get after Justin Herbert? We saw what the Giants were able to do when they got after Justin Herbert, threw off that whole offense. And the Giants' run defense is bad. That's where a lot of the offense came from for LA, was through Omari and Hampton. Well, this Commanders' run defense is good. They have a top 5 run defense in the NFL. So can they contain Omari and Hampton in this rushing attack, which is going to be without both their starting tackles and maybe their starting right guard, Mekhi Becton, who's one of the best run blockers in the NFL. So if Mekhi doesn't play, I think the run game's not going to be existent at all. Even if he does play, it's going to be very questionable. Can they disrupt Justin Herbert? Do they have the guys on the edge to get after Justin Herbert? It's Dorrance Armstrong, it's Von Miller, and Frankie Luvu on the simulated pressure. That's where the difference in this game is going to come from. Because if Herbert has time to throw, he's going to pick apart this Commanders secondary that allows us 7.5 yards per catch, the third worst in the NFL. Offensively, though, the Commanders' offensive line is very good. They're like, I think they're bottom 10 in sacks allowed, but 40% of those sacks came against the Packers on Thursday Night Football, and they've had Marcus Mariota, not Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is much harder to sack than Mariota. This Commanders' line is good. This Chargers pass rush, also good. Tuiapoto, I'm sorry, not trying to be disrespectful. I'm bad with names. That name's very hard to say. But this Chargers pass rush is good. I don't think they're good enough to get home against this Commanders offensive line. And the Chargers do allow 4.5 yards a carry. And the Commanders are running the ball very well. Do I think they'll be able to run the ball as efficiently as they did against the Raiders? Probably not. And whoever they played last week, oh, my brain. They lost last week to the Falcons. Not the greatest team against the run either. So I question if the Commanders will be able to run the ball as efficiently with their running backs. Jayden Daniels is incredible. He'll be able to be just fine. But the Commanders are without Terry McLaurin in this game, so I don't know who separates, who's getting open. This Chargers defense is very good with Deion Henley, one of the best linebackers in football. Talib Steele's been a stud. Other corners are evading me right now. It's just such a scheme dependent. I know they have Tier Tart, Tuli Tuiapoto on the D-line. Butchered his name again, I'm sorry. Let's look at their depth chart. This is bad. It's like my 4th time going to the depth chart, man. Talib Steele. They don't have Asante Samuel anymore. J.C. Jackson, is that his name? No, J.C. Jackson's the corner. No. Hold on, he's Dante Jackson, the guy from the Steelers. I think he's on the Chargers now. He's like 99 jumping in Madden. That guy was an interception machine. Madden cheat code. That guy can jump high. Moral of the story. I think he's, Dante Jackson, right? Talib Steele, Dante Jackson. I know fucking ball. Derwin James, Alohi Gilman. So this secondary, although it doesn't look the most ideal on paper, they have been playing very good football, and you're relying on Deebo Samuel now and Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey. Not the greatest group of pass catch. I don't even know if Noah Brown's still on the Texans. I'm not pulling up the depth chart for the 5th time. I don't know if these guys will be able to separate, even if Jayden Daniels does have time. Zach Ertz, but I put a bet on Zach Ertz. I just realized, like, Deion Henley's one of the best coverage linebackers, and Derwin James is going to be on Zach. Fuck, I'm going to have to cash that out. I didn't think about that all the way. Fuck. All right, we're going to let it ride, though, because we're going to let it ride. Zach Ertz is going to be the go-to guy. I wouldn't place that bet now. I'm not going to cash out. I'm going to let it ride. Zach Ertz is the go-to guy on 3rd down, 3rd and Ertz. That's what they're going to start saying, 3rd and Ertz. They say 3rd and Keenan. In LA, it's going to be 3rd and Ertz this Sunday. So no, don't take it, because I forgot. That's so stupid of me. I got hasty. I've been good. Whoa, I can't speak. Water break. I've been doing so good at gambling recently that I just completely just rushed to place that bet. I'm like, oh, no Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz targets. Let's take his yards, which is 40, which he can still get. But Deion Henley and Derwin James, not favorable matchups whatsoever. But yeah, moral of the story. Chargers pass rush is good. I think the Commanders' line will be able to maintain it. Jayden Daniels is playing. He's very hard to sack. I don't know if the Commanders' run game will be as dominant as it was. This comes down to if the Commanders' defense can disrupt Justin Herbert. That's what the game comes down to. I don't think they'll be able to enough. This is a very tough game to pick. Both offenses are without their best player that isn't the quarterback. Right? Terry McLaurin's not playing. Joe Alt's not playing, or he's doubtful. So he's probably not going to play. At the time of recording this, he's doubtful. So I'm just going to lean with the home team with the better defense. Aiden, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I hope you can understand that logic. But Aiden's my friend for those other non-viewers. Commander's friend. I will say this though, if you guys can pressure, I've said it already, but if you guys can pressure Justin Herbert, you guys have a real chance to win this game. I don't know if it'll be enough though. So like it's just smarter to go with the better defense at home with the quarterback who's been playing at an elite level. Like these QBs are a flip a coin. You can take whichever one. I don't care. I lean JD5 though. You know where I stand if you listen to this podcast. But yeah. So I lean the Chargers. Last game, if you are listening on the podcast, go listen to yesterday's episode for all of the 1:00 slate. So Patriots at Bills. The Patriots are 2-2. The Bills are 4-0. Bills are 7-point favorites. You take the Bills in this game. I've been seeing this narrative floating around social media. It's like the Patriots are going to go into Orchard Park and they're going to hang around with this Bills team. Not a chance. The Bills in their last 11 home games, they're 11-0 with an average win margin of 13 points. The Patriots are 2-2, and they beat the Dolphins and the Panthers. They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Steelers. Those are four of the worst offenses in the NFL, and Patriots fans are parading around. Drake Mays looked great in the first 4 games. He's played nobody. The Patriots have played nobody. The Bills are top 5 in the league in pressure rate. The Patriots have the 5th highest sack percentage in the NFL. Their offensive line's a joke. Their pass catchers are a complete joke. And their run game is basically non-existent. And even though the Bills' run defense has been horrible, they're getting back. They're questionable to play, but they might be getting back their 2 best run defenders in Ed Oliver and Matt Milano. So I don't know what we're talking about here. The Bills dominate bad teams at home. The Patriots are a bad football team. This offense is not going to go anywhere, especially if Ed Oliver and Matt Milano play in this game. The Bills' offensive line has been lights out. Milton Williams tweaked his ankle. He didn't practice on Thursday. This defense is done. They don't have a chance against Josh Allen. They don't generate that much pressure anyway. And even if you do get home against one of the best offensive lines in football, Josh Allen's the hardest quarterback to sack in the league. I don't care Christian Gonzalez is back. Yeah, that'll help you against a passing offense like the Panthers. It's not going to help you that much against the Bills if you can't get pressure on Josh Allen. He's just going to kill you. The Bills are going to cover 7 points. They're going to dominate this game. The Pats do have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. 3.3 yards per carry. But Milton Williams tweaked his ankle. Don't care. James Cook better. Take the Bills -7 all day long on Sunday Night Football. And I think the public's going to be on the Patriots here. They see the storied franchise. They see New England Patriots. They look at Drake May's stats against the bottom feeder defenses of the NFL, including the Pittsburgh Steelers. That defense stinks. I don't care they create 10 turnovers against Ramondre Stevenson and Carson Wentz. That defense stinks. Justin Fields moved the ball with ease on them. You take the Bills -7. The Patriots are still a joke. Don't get it mixed up. The best thing Patriots fans have to watch is YouTube highlights. Okay. This next section, new segment on these episodes, if you're watching on YouTube, it's Prop Bet Central, brought to you by PropSpot.ai, baby. Go use code DSOC for a 1-week free trial on PropSpot.ai. The best player props for the 1:00 slate of games is Jakobi Meyers' longest reception over 21.5 yards. Geno isn't afraid to let it rip. They're playing the Colts, and Xavier Howard was so bad that he just retired. So I don't know who's filling that void, but if Xavier Howard was starting over him, he can't be that good. The Colts are going to be winning this game, I think, which forces Geno and the Raiders to play from behind. And Jakobi Meyers over 21.5 longest reception has a .87 confidence score. What's the confidence score? You might be saying, well, on PropSpot.ai, there's an AI algorithm that takes into account every metric regarding a player's point total and finding the best value plays for a specific game. For all of the 1:00 games, this was the second highest confidence score. The highest was Derrick Henry, longest reception over 4.5 yards at .87 as well, but had better odds, so it ranked higher. Yeah, Henry's going to be the focal point of this offense against Houston. They're without everybody. The Ravens are dismembered, literally dismembered. The best option, the best avenue to success is through Derrick Henry. He's going to get the ball involved in as many ways as possible. And with Cooper Rush starting, I think the check down game's in play. He's going to take at least one check down for at least 5 yards. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets involved in the screen game as well. We saw him be pretty efficient in the passing game in Tennessee. They're going to have to go watch that Tennessee Titans tape, bring some of that into this offense because he is going to have to backpack the way he did at Tennessee for this Baltimore team. Use code DSOC for 1 week free trial on PropSpot.ai and use this AI algorithm for a free week and watch your bankroll grow. All right, the best player props for Sunday Night Football are TreVeyon Henderson over 26.5 rushing yards. The Bills allow the second most rushing yards per game in the NFL. TreVeyon should slowly creep into Ramondre's work. He's the more efficient back. He has more burst, and he has gone over this total in 75% of his games this season. And on PropSpot.ai, which takes into account AI algorithm, every metric, their last 10 games, last 20 games, everything you could possibly think of. He has a 0.85 confidence score, which is the second highest on Sunday Night Football. The highest is Drake May over 31.5 passing attempts, which has a 0.87 confidence score. It goes from 0 to 1, 1 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. 0.87 is a very, very high. Very rare you see them that high. You got to take Drake May over 31.5 pass completions or pass attempts. They're going to be playing from behind this game a lot. Use code DSOC. You get a 1 week free trial and just watch your bankroll stack, ladies and gentlemen. So help me out. Go use my code DSOC on PropSpot.ai. Get a 1 week free trial. If you don't like it, you can just quit. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you drop a comment, leave some emojis in the comment section. It takes 2 seconds. Drop a like. It takes 2 seconds. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go follow on all the socials. I love you all. Catch you next week. Thank you for watching.